Guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys checking out today's video and spending some time with me. And guys, today I'm going to talk about a lure that is sort of a cross between a jig and a soft plastic, like I consider it something like in between a Texas rig, creature bait and a jig, in that type of realm there. We've talked about this a little bit in the past, but this is a bait that is really, really good in the month of March and April. So I'm going to show you what it is today, give you guys some tips and advice on it. I think it's going to add up to some really good fish for y'all. Before we get started, guys, a couple quick housekeeping tips here that you guys have to endure every day. Just want to let everybody know, anyone interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler, and shoot me a private message. And these are lessons I offer that we go out on Table Rock or Stockton Lake here in Missouri. We go over any technique you want to. It's just sort of a good instructional day on the water. So if you guys are interested, check that out. And also, guys, March is officially in my opinion, the start of jig season. And I want to just encourage everybody, please try one of my Blaukat throwback jigs from Cumberland Pro Lures in the brown or the brown and orange color. This brown and orange, guys, if you've ever fished in March, there's not a better color jig. If you use a live rubber jig, which the throwback jig is, it doesn't work that good in silicone. But anyway, guys, I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description, and that's how I set it up, man. I'll be fishing this sucker a bunch over the next month. Okay, guys, we're gonna talk right off the bat. I'm gonna show you what it is, and we're gonna give you guys some tips and advice on how to fish it. I've talked about this before, but I really wanted to get into it in today's video specifically for the months of March and April, because my opinion, guys, this is when I have done the best on this thing over the past 2 years, and this is Megabass sleeper craw. I mean, there's probably not a more lifelike crawdad looking lure on the market. It's got every single attention to detail on a crawdad. And if you've never seen the sleeper craw before, it's got a keel weight here on the bottom. And when it sits on the bottom like that, these pinchers are high float pinchers. So the pinchers will stand up like that off the bottom. It's sort of like they come like that, and it's like that. They're like looking up, like, they're getting ready to fight a bass. Because if you've ever seen a bass sometimes in a crawdad, a crawdad when a bass is approaching, it's like the crawdad will be on the bottom like this. The bass will approach it, and the crawdad will fan its pinchers out to try to scare it away, which it does a lot. The bass do not like to bite crawdads that have these, crazy pinchers going up like that, but the bigger fish will. It's like a larger fish is not intimidated by a crawdad that's going like that, and that's sort of what the sleeper craw duplicates there. And then you got the hook that is completely weedless. It's buried inside the body. Nice little compact. It's only less than 2 inches long. Perfect size of the crawdad that the fish like. In my opinion, the perfect size for a crawdad is like 1.5 inches to 3 inches. I think that's the majority of the crawdads that the fish like to feed on, as far as, just bass between 2 and 5 pounds, something like that. But anyway, I'll put my sleeper craw link in the description of the video here through the Tackle Warehouse link if you guys want to pick some up. They got a bunch of good colors, so just pick up 3 or 4 different colors. Okay, now let's talk about the meat and potatoes as far as the important part of it, fishing it, how you want to fish it, and how you want to throw it. I have experimented with this bait a lot since it came out. And when it first came out, guys, I thought this thing was going to be deadly for like dragging across the bottom like a football head jig. That's how I initially thought it was going to work. And to be honest, I didn't have that much success with it. But it all changed. This was like in, March or something like that, 2 or 3 years ago. But the following month, we had a situation down at Table Rock Lake where the water came up and it got flooded in the bushes, in the buckbrushes and willow trees. And I was down there flipping a jig, and I just happened to have 2 or 3 of them laying in the boat. And I said, man, I'm gonna try that thing. It looks like it's weedless. Guys, I started flipping this thing in those bushes, and I absolutely annihilated them. And then later in the year, I was down at Grand Lake one time, and I caught a bunch of them flipping lay down trees with it. So the way that I fish the sleeper craw is flipping. I flip it on a flipping stick most of the time with 17 to 20 pound test Seaguard Vizex line. And it has a nice slow fall to it. The bait is bulky, so it falls sort of horizontal and really slow. But guys, I tell you what, for pitching and flipping shallow cover, this is something that these fish do not see ever. And also, guys, this works good as a swim jig. You can take it and you can swim it just under the surface, just like you would a swim jig. Caught them like that doing it, but specifically I want to talk about the flipping and pitching situation with it. The thing about the sleeper crawl that's different than a Texas rig is the slow fall with it. It's sort of like using a jig that's like maybe a little bit less than 1/4 of an ounce, a full-size jig, or using like a Texas rig creature bait that has an 1/8 ounce slip sinker on it. It's a slow fall. And this slow fall, one of the things that you'll find about bass through my observation and study of them is different times of the year, they like different fall rates as far as how slow or how fast the lure falls. And it's not equated to water temperature like you would think as much. It has to do more with the water clarity, the cover you're fishing, and more than anything else, it's just the mood and the personality of the bass, how they act at different times of the year, because different times of the year, the fish have different priorities. Like in the springtime of the year, there's 3 phases. You got the pre-spawn, the spawn, and the post-spawn. Those fish are completely focused on, spawning and building up their, reserves and their protein, to form eggs and, basically have the energy to spawn. And when they get like that in the springtime of the year, I have found that a slow falling jig or soft plastic lure catches 10 times the number of fish that's something of a fast move. And that's why, like I said, for my jig fishing, I'll use the 3/8 ounce, like 1/4 to 3/8 ounce is a slower fall. I do not use anything over 3/8 for the most part in March and April. And that's one of the reasons why the sleeper craw works so good. It's like, not only it's realistic looking, but it's got the perfect fall rate. And don't ever discount that. It's like when you're talking about things that generate a strike from a bass, fall rate, lure profile, lure color, cadence of retrieve, all that type of stuff come into factors, because a lot of times if you don't have the right ingredient as far as in the terms of the lure profile and the fall rate and everything that goes with it, you will get the attention of a bass, but you won't get them to commit and bite the lure. So that's one of the things I really like about this Megabass sleeper craw is the profile of the lure combined with the fall of the bait and just the bulk of it. It's just really appealing to those fish in the pre-spawn and during the spawn. Like I said, it's like a hybrid jig Texas rig, and I just love it. Another thing, I'll give you one tip on there. I know a lot of people, when they buy one of these things, they're not going to want to, a lot of people hesitate to do it. But I'll tell you one tip with the sleeper craw that I have been able to use is take off one of the pinchers. Just take these things are really elastic, but just take a pair of scissors and, clip off one of the pinchers. So you only got, one pincher on the sleeper craw. And I started doing this a couple of years ago when I read a study that they were studying bass and crawdads, and they found out that like when a crawdad that has 2 pinchers, a healthy crawdad that's got 2 pinchers got the least amount of bites. The crawdad that had 1 pincher got like twice as many bites as the one that had 2. And the crawdad that didn't have any pinchers got twice as many bites as the crawdad that only had 1 pincher. I've tried to take both pinchers off, and I have not done that good, but I've left one on and done really good on it. So that's just something else to remember there. But anyway, guys, give it a try. Like I said, just get you a few of them, put you on some like 17-pound test fluorocarbon on a flipping stick, pitch and flip the sucker around shallow cover and see what happens there. So another good thing, it's really good on docks. If you guys have boat docks for your fishing, great lure for that. So hope it helps out, guys. I'll talk to you later.